Welcome to The Neighborhood, a show where a mother and her daughter talk about business, community, and everything in between. Now hop aboard the trolley and let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Neighborhood. This is Gina, and this is
Charlie Cummings.
Cummings. I'm so excited that you and I are finally doing this podcast. And Charlie has an office here at the village. You are a village people. But I was trying to think, how long have you been here? How did we meet? But we met here. But we met, like, your reputation was here before you were. Because I'm trying to remember who it was specifically that said, you need to know Charlie Cummings. So it was somebody who was already here. Maybe it was another realtor. Charlie does commercial real estate. He's a commercial real estate broker. And there was somebody who told me about you. And they're like, you need to know Charlie. And then like a week later, you were in our lobby. And I went up and introduced myself and you said, Charlie Cummings. I was like, wait a minute. I know you. And you were here. You just appeared. Yeah. How did you come about the village? Like, did you do a search?
So I had a one-on-one with somebody I was telling him I was at Thrive, which is another competitor.
And we love
Thrive.
Chad and
They're
Charlie
great.
at Thrive. Yep.
And he's like, you need to check the village out.
I bet it was a B&I person.
It was probably B&I person. You need to check the village out. The energy, Gina, it's just so community focused. And I felt that when I came in, a lot of the co-working spaces, and it's not their fault. I think the intention is to create community, but it does feel like sort of this bro tech culture of like, well, I need a desk. I need to have an office. My company's based in California. And so I
need to work.
I just need to work.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all they think of.
Yeah.
But really, is there anybody who just needs to just work? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Besides Levi. God bless you, Levi. Levi, if we get him to speak 5 words, he's in pain. But that's always our goal here at the village. Have you met Levi?
I don't think I've met Levi.
He owns his own company, but he's a programmer, and he literally tries to get from his office to our front door without making eye contact, and we'll say, he spoke, he said bye. And I taught a class today on Canva, and he showed up in the class. I was like, I bet I'm going to get him to speak today. And I told Andrew, I was like, that just made my day. He spoke like 5 sentences. But he said when he first came in, I love that there's community out there.
Yes.
So he likes that there's community. He just doesn't want to participate. But it is interesting. I think people just want to know there's other people here. And he's a gem. I love Levi. But it's like one of those things. He's very, very introvert, and he does not need to speak, but he likes that other people are talking out there. His office is next door to Ben.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's near loud talking Ben and me out in the cafe all the time. So yeah. So you came in, and the minute you and I met, we're like, oh, you need to be here. Like, you're a connector.
Yes.
And I love that because it's just here. It's all about connecting people. And who do you need to know? And you need to meet this person. And yeah, it's very fun. How long have you been a commercial broker?
Yes. So it's coming up on 8 years. And before that, this interesting. I did airport consulting, which most people have no idea what it was. Now it's easy. Okay. You sell buildings, right? It's super simple, but airport consulting, what was that? So that was very interesting part of my life. So I went to school wanting to be a commercial airline pilot, decided I was going to do consulting instead.
I did not know that.
And so it's part of my background and history. Wow. And what I liked about that career is a lot I didn't like. I'll just touch on what I liked, right? I liked connecting the dots, right? Of connecting the people from the airports, the stakeholders to the consultants, right? Figuring out like that's really what I enjoyed the most. But unfortunately, I was young in the business. I wasn't bald, didn't have gray hair. So who's going to listen to a 23-year-old educate them about airports, right?
When you're a consultant, you need to dye your hair gray.
Yes.
Dye your hair gray right away. And then figure out, how do I make wrinkles?
Yeah.
Sleep with tape on your face, something. Yeah, that's a good point. Because you're like, you're a consultant, really. It's like somebody coming in and saying they're a life coach. I was like, really? What are you, 22? Like, it's like, how are you a life coach? Yeah. That is pretty funny. So from there, you went to
So from there, I had a friend that was in residential real estate. I had talked to him, and we were kind of in the same places in life about kind of leaving the corporate culture we were in. And so at that point, I decided to kind of go full in, be an entrepreneur, get my license. I did residential for about a year. And in that year,
Okay.
there was a commercial team at KW commercial in the downtown office. And so that's where I started to learn about commercial.
Okay.
And so most people ask like, what's your first deal, right? My first deal it's not that exciting, but I'll share what I did. So I loved food trucks. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
So I used to go around to these festivals and get to know food trucks. So I was like, well, let me get a list of all the food trucks, because some of these food trucks, not all, are big enough that they're going to need brick and mortar space. So my first deal was a barbecue restaurant space that had been vacant. And I contacted my barbecue food truck list and just matchmaked that opportunity.
It would be so easy for them just to
go in. A second-gen restaurant space, right? And now when I work with clients, it's the same kind of thing of like finding the best match is something that's already as close to possible, right? I don't want clients having to spend more money than they have to on build out, right? We all know, Gina can talk about that.
Let's not. I have PTSD. I'll start twitching.
But I think it's important to understand, like, how can you make this process as seamless as possible? And so for a lot of people, just matchmaking, what is the best space for this user? And so that I thought, well, food trucks, this makes sense. Some of these food trucks are that successful. They need a brick and mortar space.
Right.
And so that's what I started doing.
That's really cool. Well, if you know any coffee cart people that want a space, I want a coffee bar in here in the cafe. We could turn the kids' room into a little bakery, but they could bring in food. They could make coffee drinks, sell espresso drinks, breakfast stuff. So if you're out there, I'm looking for you. That's super interesting. And what I love about you, like, we're always talking about marketing stuff, and you're a big conference goer. And like, I love that because I'm always learning, and I'm always shocked at how many people I meet. They don't listen to podcasts. They don't read books. I'm like, they don't read blogs. I'm like, how do you stay abreast in your own industry? Years ago, I started out in 95 with my own training company, and we did a lot in the cable industry. And back then, and this is going to tell you how long ago that was, it was cable versus satellite. Satellite was new. They were coming on the scene in 1995. And so you go in like Best Buy, or I don't remember, all those stores that they sold satellite equipment. And I would go into the cable companies and I would say, how many of you have gone into Best Buy or one of these stores and pretended to be a customer and just ask them, what's the difference between cable versus satellite? None of them had ever even considered that. And I was always baffled going, this is your industry. How do you not want to learn what's going on in your industry? What are they selling against you? How do you know how to talk to So I'm still amazed when I meet people. What do you do to stay abreast in your industry? That's it. They don't. But you just came back from a super cool conference.
Yes.
So what was the conference?
So the CREI conference, basically think of commercial real estate influencers. So these are people that are brokers, that are vendors in the space, that are just trying to basically build exposure, which goes hand in hand in marketing, what you've done for what you do now, but what you did in your past life. In your past life. So just super cool to take an industry that, people don't really think of commercial real estate as forward thinking. They don't.
Well, the real estate industry has not been the most tech savvy or forward thinking.
No.
So we're still printing flyers on most homes, and commercial buildings we were just talking about. They still give you this little spiral bound, lots of paper pages.
Yes.
They give you 2 or 3 of them. So that is interesting. So this was commercial real estate influencers. Which I love that, because to me, marketing, my focus was always with people. You need to be the authority in your industry. Build authority. I always say, don't even try to be an influencer, because we all are influencing somebody.
Yeah.
But if you are an authority, that means people come to you when they have questions. It means they go to you because I know you're the expert. I want your opinion. I want to hear from you. You're the authority in this space. And if you work on being an authority, you will influence more people.
Yes.
And so that's really cool. So what were the highlights? Because I loved your posts about it. I was like, oh, I should have gone to this conference. This looked really cool.
I think the highlight is start, right? A lot of people get consumed like, hey, which channel media, how to do podcasts, how to do video. So many of the people there, everything I went to, all the breakout sessions were all about, look, if this is your first or your 10th or whatever, just do it.
Just
right.
Start one.
And especially with the videos. So I came back on the plane. I had CapCut, which
already downloaded.
The video software. I'm looking at how to make these cool videos. And I'm like, I'm just going to start. And everybody I've talked to said, Charlie, This doesn't need to be the most edited video.
No.
Just be real,
Yeah.
be authentic, right? Just talk about what people, want to hear. They want to hear you, right? They
Right.
want to hear that connection.
They want to hear your
Yeah,
expertise.
exactly.
Like you're the authority.
Yes.
You're the expert. Tell me what,
But make it engaging, make it fun. There's a lot of people I think that can just think of just the classic blog on a website, which now you can have AI help you write that and all that. But where's the personality behind it?
Yeah.
Because so many of these brokers, I think, have a lot to share. It's just they don't. They view it as, this is what I hear from my competitors, the people that I work with. It's not worth it. There's no direct ROI. It's another task. They don't view it as in something to bolster their authority and their presence. They just view it as, where am I going to have time?
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about, okay, what if I just carved out an extra hour a week this week or 2 hours
to share somehow.
To share something.
Could be video, could be audio, could be a blog, something. And you know what? When they don't, I call them a knowledge hoarder.
Yes.
They are knowledge hoarders. They have so much expertise and experience. And that's what I was telling you earlier. All these people who say, I am the expert, but nobody knows it because they don't share anything. So if nobody knows you're the expert, then you're not an expert. You're just someone who is a knowledge hoarder. You have lots of wisdom, lots of information, but you don't put it out there. You're just hoarding that knowledge and no one will know it. And so to me, that is really interesting is the young tech savvy ones are like, I'll try it. What I find, I get a lot of people that come in here. We do podcast classes here. We do, today we had a Canva class. Next week we have another advanced Canva class to do things like in our intro to this podcast, a little video. I made that in Canva. Like there's things you can do, but people are so either intimidated and video, they start going, oh, but then I need to buy an expensive camera. I need really expensive microphones. No, you could do it with your phone.
Yes.
Like our phones are better cameras right now than most cameras that we've had.
Yeah.
And unless you're making a feature film, nobody can tell the difference between 8K, 4K, 1080p. It's like, just like you said, just start.
Just start doing it.
Just make one. And you know what's really funny? When you start podcasting or doing videos, a year from now, you're going to look back at the first videos you did and you're going to cringe and go, oh my gosh, those were horrible. That was so bad. The lighting was bad. This was bad. But here's the thing. If you wait until you think you're ready, you're still going to make crappy first videos. So you might as well start and do a bunch of them and get better. And then it's just good to see your progression too. Like just do it.
Yeah. And I think, 10 or 15 years ago, maybe it was Google searching. Right now it's using ChatGPT or some other AI to look you up. And so maybe some people think, well, my client, my avatar is not going to be on there. And I would say false, right?
False.
Somebody, whether it's maybe your client's son, daughter, partner, whoever is going to actually look you up before they talk to you. And so that's how I look at it. If I have a cold call, I want them to do the research and look me up.
Yeah.
Look at my Google reviews, look at Facebook, Instagram, whatever. See that I'm an actual person. This isn't just Charlie Cummings broker.
Yeah.
This is the brand he's trying to create. And I think that is worth something. It's tangible.
It is. I mean, people that don't have a digital footprint, I worry about them because I go, okay, you've had to work really hard to not have a digital footprint. Like, have you never put a post out there that's informational or educational? Have you never attended a conference and shared stuff? Have you never done something that was newsworthy or written? I don't know. I just tell people, you've got knowledge. How are you not sharing that somewhere? Even if it's just on social media, write your opinion, write an op-ed piece that's just your opinion on something, which is really interesting because I always look people up. Now what's interesting I started doing is if I have an appointment with someone and it's a big deal. I was meeting with this guy the other day and I knew he was a CEO of a software company and we had a meeting. So I went to chat and I just said, my chat's name is Phil. So I'm like, hey, Phil, it's Gina. Hey, Phil. I have a meeting today and I said, it's with this Reed and I want you to, I could go to his LinkedIn profile and see most of it, but I said, can you give me background on him? Where does he, where has he worked? What does he do? And just write up a little summary for me. And he's like, absolutely, Gina. Phil, he's so great. And then Phil in seconds has a whole bio on him. And I was able to say, oh, he lives and has worked in Silicon Valley where I worked in California before. And I was like, oh, I worked for Convergent Technologies. He's worked for another company that was down the road. So it was like, I got some good intel that as we were talking, I was able to ask him questions that I already had rapport building points. You don't want to creep people out and go, so I understand you
Yeah.
worked at, but all of it was obviously public knowledge because it was out there. And I think I've shared before, I have an AI board of directors. So I picked people in our industry. And what's interesting, some people that I think are a big deal in our industry, I put their name in and chat. Phil could not find, there was not enough content from that person. That person may share a lot of content, but they haven't written enough to be an authority. And therefore, Phil was like, I got nothing on this person. And I'm like, oh, kick him off my board. I'm like, I don't want them on my board. They don't have any authority. I need somebody that can advise me. So it is interesting. You have to be able to put content out there. But yeah, it's interesting now how you can prepare and you can do things using AI and different tools to research that can help you, in your business. I love it.
It's fascinating. I think, I'm learning so much. I never thought I would be so engrossed in marketing, but I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be. You have to understand it, right? Yeah. And whether you hire a full-time marketing company or you use some of it yourself,
right?
You have to understand, I think, the basics. And this year I've taken a deep dive into that of looking at different AI platforms, different marketing, seeing what's work. And then a year from now, I'll have tangible metrics to say, hey, I did this and this is what I want to do. So one of the things I think one of the things you do here, which is great, is classes.
Yeah.
We talked, I tell a lot of people, I think, okay, so I can talk to a client, have a one-on-one, but wouldn't it be cool if I can do a class to, let's say, 30 people and then have that content, share it.
Yes.
They can watch and consume whenever they want. That to me is magical.
If you can educate your clients, and that you and I were talking the other day about Notebook LM. And it's like Notebook LM is a Google product. You can go in and say, okay, I have a client who's interested in these 3 buildings or this type of building. Can you prepare a 10-minute podcast for me? Here's a couple links to websites on what my client might need to know. And Notebook LM will create a 10-minute podcast. And if you've never heard a podcast from Notebook LM, because you said they showed this at the conference, didn't they? And the 2 podcast hosts are like you and I. They would be talking and going, oh, wow, Charlie, I know this is so, and they talk with enthusiasm and passion. And you're going, wait, this is not real? It's not real? It's so crazy. But how cool would that be for your client to go, oh my gosh, that was such a helpful resource that you sent me to help me understand the difference between triple net and, retail rates and different things in the commercial space that new people, first time renters are not going to know this stuff. And it's intimidating. You don't want to go in and go, I don't even know what a cap rate is. How do you explain that? And I don't understand what triple net is. If you were able to give them a podcast they could listen to on their own time, that would be so cool.
And I tell this to the partners I work with, whether they're attorneys or architects, is you have to meet your client where they are. And that's the one positive feedback I've heard from clients I've talked to. We have our discovery call, and it's like this tension is released in the room of like, wow, you got to what I wanted to know.
And you're not intimidated.
And I'm not intimidating about it, right? I'm not trying to say, I'm just going to meet them where they're at. And if they don't understand that, I will say, okay, this is what we need to get together. I'll help you, but I'm only going to go as fast or slow as you want.
Right. Which is so important because I think sometimes people assume, oh, this is probably your 8th deal buying real estate or leasing spaces. And you're like, oh, I know nothing about this. And it is interesting when you say classes because residential realtors hold classes on first time buyer class and they bring in a mortgage broker and they talk about how to qualify or how to clean up your credit. They have all these different classes. Why not in the commercial space? Like that's a cool. And then you also, like we're talking about doing one on marketing but did you say you want it to be for everybody in the commercial space or just for
anybody,
marketers?
Anybody. My goal is, I think when I left this is like, I want people to leave the class, a video marketing class with actually a video from their phone.
Yeah.
I want them to see how easy it is, right? Most people have Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn on their phone. So I want everybody to create a video that they can share. As they leave,
showing their authority in whatever it is. Whatever it is. It could be, I know how to sew better than anybody else. And here's 5 things you should know that you could start sewing your hymns on your pants instead of using tape or staples. Which just reminded me of something I heard this week. Have you ever put jeans in the freezer?
No.
Okay. I heard you should not be washing your jeans, that you should freeze your jeans. Why just jeans and not other pants? I don't know. But they say putting your jeans in the freezer kills all germs and cleans them somehow, but that you shouldn't be washing them. And I'm like, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. I mean, not that your clothes are disgusting, but they could be. Like today, dogs jumped on me and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to go home and put my jeans in the freezer. But I've heard many people say, and I'm curious if you're watching this and you put your jeans in the freezer, help sell me on this idea. Why are you doing it? And where are you putting it that's okay in with your food?
Yeah.
Like you're putting jeans in the freezer for some reason, sewing, jeans, freezer, tangent. Okay. So at this conference, was video pretty much like the big highlight?
Yeah, video and podcasts were pretty big.
Which
And there
is
are some
really interesting.
incredible video creators that just within a year. So we're not talking people that have been creating videos for 5 years.
Yeah.
We're talking content in the last year that have just kind of gone viral.
All in commercial real estate because that's what the
Yeah,
group was.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah, there was one developer out of Kansas City and just incredible. Like he, and developers, that's a whole nother spectrum.
Right.
We don't see developers share a lot, right? Developers keep kind of things
they try to go from their office to the front door without talking to you.
It's just very, I think people think it's very gate kept industry.
Right.
Commercial real estate in general is very gate kept, right? There's just a lot of things.
True.
People think the value is in that. Well, Charlie knows something that, Gina doesn't.
I could never know. So I need to go to the
So you need to
wizard.
go. Yes. You need to go to the wizard who's done 30 deals in a mile of your location because they have all the data. That data has become such a commodity and it's only going to become more of a commodity that if that is your only trick in your playbook, you've failed.
Right.
Like you're going to be out of business.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. I think that's true with any residential or commercial realtors. And residential went through that whole thing where their now commission is negotiable and all this kind of stuff. It's like, well, because it's becoming a commodity, what isn't the commodity is the relationship piece.
Yes.
And you're the expert. You know stuff that I still don't know. And even I don't need to know all of it. I don't want to know all of it. I want to know that I can go to somebody who's going to be straight shooting with me. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that you can connect with. Because let's be honest.
That is the key.
I don't think what I do is special. I don't think commercial real estate's special. I'm no different than the top producer at institutional. They're writing contracts, showing properties, doing the same things. So what connects us,
it is intimidating.
But what connects us is the relationship, right? Is how we interact. So there's a value of that to me is huge, right? It's
and it's the whole thing. Everybody knows you have to know, like and trust the person. It's like, video does that faster than anything. Audio content, if you're doing a podcast, you're very intimate because most people are listening to a podcast while they're alone. They're driving somewhere, they're working out, they're going for a walk. So it's just me and the person talking in my ear. It's very intimate. Video, I may be watching, I may be doing other things and then looking over every once in a while, but audio, there's something very personal. You get to know people. But video, I mean, how many people thought they knew Flo, the insurance person, progressive person? I'm like, I like her. I would hang out with her. I like Flo. And it's only because I see her on commercials all the time. So you get to see their face and their personality over and over and over. And I think video podcasting can do that for you. And it's just so easy to do nowadays. There was somebody who came in, she was actually a residential realtor. She came in and wanted me to help her get set up. She wants to start doing video. And she was just like, it's just so intimidating. And I said, okay, we're going to demystify. We're going to be mythbusters here. Yes, we have lights. We have lights. They're not fancy. We have lights. Okay. We have microphones that look super official, but they're, microphones. You could just use wireless clip-on lavalier. It's the same. You're getting the same sound. If you demystify it, it's like, all right, how do you just do a podcast? 2 people, microphones, camera. And that really could be a phone with 2 wireless mics. And that's all you need equipment-wise. Don't go and spend. I know people who have spent $5,000 with green screen back in the day when that was a big thing, green screen, big camera equipment. They had all this stuff, never used it because they still felt like they needed more. And so you feel like I'm not ready until I have all the stuff. It's like, if you just do it and then maybe you upgrade your microphone in a year or 6 months, maybe you use a different, program to edit. I don't even edit ours. I'm like, it is one take wonder. Like we have a conversation and at the end it goes up on the, websites. So if you feel like you're needing to script things too much, you're going to probably have more cost because you're going to need someone to edit. But if you just have a conversation, it doesn't. And it's easy.
And I've heard the more personal, I heard this today. people, so in the car, you see a lot of people doing in the car.
Yes.
People listen because they feel that's much more intimate and
It
personal.
is interesting. What is that? Did you feel like, oh, I'm sitting in their car with them? They're talking to me in their car. I mean, I've seen people that they have the camera to the side, so they're driving and they're talking like you're sitting in the car with them. I was like, oh, that's kind of.
I never thought about that,
That's
but
an interesting
it's very
thing.
personal.
Yeah, you're like riding along with James Corden. You're going to start singing and break out in carpool karaoke. It's interesting to think of the different ways. You said, who does one in a bathtub?
Yes.
Like, that's so cool. I love that so much. I would never do it, but I love that this guy did it. So he does all his videos in a bathtub.
Most of them. Not all, but
that
most
is
of them,
so wild. And what is he talking about?
commercial real estate stuff.
Commercial real estate, and he's in the bathtub. I wonder what was it that did he ever share that? Like, what was it that he goes, it'd be really good.
Yeah.
I should be in the bathtub.
I think taking this is interesting.
That's
so
intimate on another level.
Yes, he calls them tub talks, but taking something like we all know TED Talks, right?
Yeah.
But taking something that people can associate with and kind of spin off it, right?
That's so brilliant.
Most people know TED Talk.
Yeah.
And
I guarantee you're going to share that video with someone else because he's in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Not because the content was like, oh, but I'm going to share it no matter. So you and I have talked about this. There are a lot of things you could do to go viral, which being in the bathtub would be one of them. Taking your clothes off in someone's house and doing a video in their home would be another one. Is it bringing you business?
Yes.
Is always the bottom line. And here's what the reality today is, and always, I mean, again, I've been in the digital marketing space since 2007, when Facebook and Twitter were just barely babies. And the key is it has not changed. Social media, depending on your products, if you're selling clothes, jewelry, candy, I'm going to see something on Instagram, click, I'm going to buy it. If you are a commercial broker or you're selling my old company, I was selling marketing services. Here I'm selling offices. You're not necessarily going to watch a thing on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and go, oh, I'm going to work with them. It's not going to translate the same. However, you're building your authority through social, and then they're going to click. I always called it the content universe. And this is where I used to get into. Your website is the sun. You need your website to be informative and have calls to action. When they get here, here's how to get a hold of me. Here's how to do whatever. Now, from your sun, around the sun, you have planets. The planets are bigger pieces of content. Those are blog posts, videos. It's your pieces of expertise. It's lead magnets. It's
content waterfall.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like all those bigger pieces. Now, outside of the planets, you have the stars. And there are millions of stars. And those are all your little social media posts. Some are feel good. Some are a poll. Some are just you and your family doing something. The stars, the reason you have millions of them is I won't see them all. I go out tonight and I don't see any stars. You go out and you see a few stars. Someone else goes out and they see a few more stars. So we're all seeing different stars. The stars get my attention. Some of them don't, and I don't even see them. They bring me to a planet. I then consume something there that brings me to the sun. So your content universe should pull people in, showing that you have the authority in your space. If I watch all your social media posts and I have no idea what you do, there's a problem. There's a problem. Some people are so random in their posts that I go, I don't even know what they do. How are they selling? What are they selling? What are they doing? I watch some social media posts that I love. There are people on Instagram videos, on Reels, on TikTok that are doing such funny and cool content, but I'm like, I have no idea how they ever make money, except maybe on a YouTube, they're getting enough clicks and views that they're monetizing that. But I don't know what they're an expert in. So sometimes we're putting content out that we're trying to become viral, but that's not going to get business. I mean, have you ever had somebody find you because of social?
So right now, Google My Profile has been the biggest lead source. So I had a client of mine find me last year, turn in 4 deals later this year, and then I have another.
They Googled broker near
in a
me.
certain area.
Yeah.
They looked at a property online and they wanted to work with a broker in that market. So because my address is located here in Centennial, which is a very hot submarket for those that are not based here, it has helped. So I'm working with another client now that literally is half a mile away, office is half a mile away. So same thing. He was looking commercial real estate. Oh, wow, 55 5-star reviews. That's
and
pretty
he
incredible.
saw you on Google profile.
Yep,
Your
and then
profile
reached out.
pops up, which again, for SEO and for now AI search, yes, you need to have your information on your Google profile. Reviews do count.
Yes.
Reviews are very important for your searchability on AI as well as Google.
Yes.
Yeah. But then on social, once they know you, then they're like, now let me check your authority.
Yes.
Now I'm going to go to your different social channels, and now I'm consuming content that is going to draw out those know, like, and trust pieces.
Yes.
So first, be findable, then be likable on your social channels. And most people spend too much time on I'm going to acquire a customer. And again, it depends on your business.
Mhm.
It depends on your business. If you are selling tickets to anything, I always say this, my husband, he will buy any ticket to any event anywhere. We just went to the Scottish Highland Festival on Saturday or Sunday because he saw a thing on Instagram and he clicked and bought the ad. He bought the tickets. He will buy, you guys should all target him if you're trying to sell tickets to something because he will buy them. He will buy them. Or if you're selling shirts, he somehow, and he gets frustrated every time. I bought this shirt. It doesn't even fit. Of course it doesn't fit. It was on Instagram. Like, what are you doing? Go to Temu. No. And so, yeah, there are certain products it makes sense, but most social, like people here they're already in our orbit. They're following our social to stay abreast on what events are coming up, what classes, but they're not finding us through a search on Instagram or, they just want to see what is the vibe there. They're checking your authority after they have found you.
And I had a cold email outreach to a bunch of business, second gen restaurant. So it was a coffee shop that got this email. He had somehow found my video on YouTube, which by the way has no views. So please go to my YouTube
and just let it play.
Please play.
Let it play a nonstop. Just turn the volume down. Let it play. So rack up views. Yeah.
So, but he had found the client of mine. He had seen the video and he's like, oh, Chris, you work with Charlie because I saw this video. So that connection happened because of, like I said, random cold email.
Yeah.
Had somehow looked at because I didn't put a video in the email. So probably had just looked at my name on YouTube and saw the video and was like, oh, I know that business.
Or they look it up on Google and Google owns YouTube. So if I Google your name, any video that has your content and your name, it's going to come up in a search result, which people don't realize the power of, hopefully, the power of YouTube, but podcasting, if you're doing a video podcasting, any video podcasting, you need to load it on YouTube as a podcast. Because YouTube podcasting is getting a different reach and it's searchable. Any video on YouTube is just searchable and it's forever searchable. So
it's a library.
It's a library. Like 2 years from now, I could search for commercial broker in Centennial and I might find your video you did 5 years ago, but it's going to pop up and I'm going to go, oh, I watched this video. Let me watch the next one. Let me see what else he's got. Let me go over to your so it's like, I think people just don't realize the power in findability in YouTube. So more video content is really helpful and it's seen as a good authority for AI to search. So it's like, get your content going. What other tips did you really take away that you're like, all right, this was great at this conference?
I think so. Starting and just being super real and authentic. I think that's just one thing we cannot downplay. Is I'm not looking to have a full-on video production and these to be super polished. Even though people that do have full-time marketing people, their videos still look super real. Like we just pulled out our phone and had a short script, but we just like went into it.
Right.
So I think even those that hire somebody full-time, make sure it looks as real. And everybody I've talked to about, about this idea of doing more video, they're just like, just make it real.
Yeah.
Right. Make it, don't be somebody else, be yourself.
Yes.
And that's my goal with these videos is to showcase the clients I work with, right? Before we get to the end, before we get to the opening, is like, let's talk about the why. Like we all want to know, why are you doing this, right? We see all the signs, we support these businesses. I bet you a lot of you don't know who owns the business, even if it's a franchise.
That's true.
Some of these stores you frequent or fitness places or restaurants, you probably don't even know who started this or who the local owner is.
That's a
but
good
wouldn't
point.
it be cool to talk to the local owner
and
and say, man, you've done really well with this. How did you create this?
That's I like that idea. It's just highlighting the small businesses that are running all these places.
Yes.
One point to bring out when you say whether you hire someone to do your marketing or your videos, be careful because sometimes we outsource marketing and we don't even know really what we need them to do because we've never done it ourselves. When you do it yourself, even for a while, then you know, all right, I'm spending too much time on this piece. I can now outsource that. And I know what I'm paying for.
Yes.
People that just say, oh, I'm going to hire somebody to market and they're going to do my videos. They're going to do my this. They're going to edit my podcast. This woman, this broker that came in, the residential realtor, she was paying somebody $2,000 per episode to be her producer of her podcast. But she didn't even know what was involved. She was like, I don't know. I had somebody come and do my hair, my makeup. It has brought her $0. And now she's like, I need to start from scratch and start over. And it's like, you should, no matter what you're outsourcing, you should do it until you know what pieces you need to outsource.
Yes.
Because then you just know what to expect them to do and how to hold them to that,
I agree 100%. Everything that I've done in my business, I've done
Yourself.
every part of
Yeah.
it. I've done every single part, and I'm proud of that. Right.
Yeah.
Some brokers can say they've worked on 1,000 transactions, but just touching a small piece isn't that.
No.
I've touched every piece of the transaction, and I could say I'm very proud because I understand. I sit in my client's seat of, hey, when they're opening a business, there's so many things they have to deal with.
Yep.
And I like to provide that guidance where somebody that's never done that or has just been transactional the whole time, they don't know.
Right. No, I agree. I 100% agree is you should know how to answer their question in any part of the transaction. And then in your business, like, okay, do I know what I'm hiring somebody to do? Because if I've never done it, it's hard to then be the person that can coach. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I love the idea of the marketing symposium or whatever we end up. It's going to be November 13th.
Mhm.
So if you're watching this video and the date has not already passed, you need to look up on our website. You'll see info about it coming soon on our events. Because November 13th, we're going to put on a big marketing.
Yeah, we're going to call it Masterclass Video Marketing.
Love it. Masterclass video marketing. Love that. Yeah. Everybody wants to be in a masterclass. I do love that. And you know what? Maybe there's going to be someone in a bathtub. Could be. Or somebody naked doing a video house tour. I don't know.
We could have Ben as a guest.
Oh gosh. Ben and I always talk about, I go, Ben, I'm not your target market. Don't take off your clothes in my house. But it's working for him. It's working. He's getting a lot of attention. It is interesting to think of creative ways that people are using video. In their
and really the tools, right? They're simple. I mean, I got a mic after the
simple.
conference. I got a little tripod.
Yeah.
I think just showing people, okay, here's what you need, the basics. We can give you all the items
Here's
you can
the
go get
list.
right today.
Amazon.
What it costs. Here you go get it.
Because it's not a lot. It's really not. And I tell people, start with your phone if that's all you've got. And then in 2 months, upgrade, get a microphone, you could sit in. I mean, what's funny is if you were doing this at home, your closet is the best podcast room because you've got clothes, you've got carpet usually. So it's like nice and sound, you've got no echo in there. An empty room is a bad place because there's echo and there's stuff. And so, yeah, you could be in your closet with the microphone and a phone. And
I've heard that about video is the one thing I think that matters the most is the sound.
It is.
You have to be able to hear. And I've noticed that I was at a restaurant
true.
before this, and as soon as the background noise, and even though I had a mic, it totally just kind of threw off.
If I can't hear you or there's echo, if there's a reverb type echo, I can't. There's I can't even follow. I'll hang, disconnect, hang up, close out that tab. But if the lighting isn't great, I don't care. If the camera is not 8K quality, nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's what I think people need to hear is no, they're there to hear great content. And if you're informational and entertaining,
yes,
that's what people I don't know how it is harder to teach. I do know how to teach that because I did teach that for a long time, but how to sound passionate and excited about your topic. Because if you are just reading a script somewhere, people always ask me, do you have a teleprompter? I was like, no, you should not be using one.
Yeah.
Yes, you can have a teleprompter app and it's going to kill your video because you're going to sound terrible. So yeah, to me, it's one of those things. I just realized the camera turned somehow during our thing. Look, it turned towards the curtain. Let me see if it follows me, if it tracks. Our little robot camera now turned after we were already starting. So somewhere in here, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah, part of it. And I just think it's one of those things that people feel like they have to be perfect to do video. And it's like, no. Do great video. Just do great content. Put out content. regularly if possible.
Yes. And I think understand why you're doing it too. So don't just do it. Like the content I'm doing I'm thinking about the why, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to connect to these people. I want people to understand their story.
Right.
And so for me, it's getting that 1 to 2 minutes of understanding why they're doing this. And I think if you can harness that why, you're going to get the energy. Now, if there's no why to doing that, it's not going to come out great. But
it would be cool to just hear from these local
business owners,
businesses and like, what made you start this? Because it's so fascinating to me to hear those stories of what you went from being a firefighter to starting a company. It's like, wow.
And truthfully, I'm going to be biased about entrepreneurs. I do think entrepreneurship is the hardest road.
It is.
Coming from corporate, I mean, but to me, it's so rewarding because it's you're investing everything into yourself, into other people, though. You're serving other people, investing in yourself. And to me, there's no greater opportunity. So yes, I do think entrepreneurship is the hardest road, but it is the most rewarding road.
Yeah. Which is interesting. We always say choose your hard because if you work a corporate job and it's hard because you're there 40 hours a week and you're having to juggle, you can't take time off because you've got a family and you're trying to juggle this. Yeah, that's hard too. So you think, I'm going to go the easy way and become an entrepreneur
and work for yourself. No,
you get to choose which 22 hours of the day you want to work.
Yes.
So that's really easy. It is kind of funny. It's hard. But also when it's your business, you will do anything to make it work.
Yeah.
And I just told
you
somebody
will work 80 hours to work 40.
You will work 80 hours. Yes. It's like to avoid working that 40 over there. Yeah. And the guy that's coming in here, Jeremy, who's started a flight dispatch school here, and he quit his job that he's worked for 20 years instructing at Boeing or at Jeppesen, and he's going to start this school here. And he's like, I am terrified. I was like, you are in the right place.
Yes.
Like, this is the exciting part. I go, some call it terrifying, some call it exciting. It's the same biochemical reaction.
Yes.
Both give you diarrhea and you won't sleep. But you know what? It's going to be exciting. Like and it's just fun because he's just in this very beginning stages of getting everything. He had to have the FAA had to come and inspect here. They had to see where his office was going to be and they had to walk through the whole place. And they were like, this is incredible. They're like, he could use this whole space. I was, you can meet with people over here. The students can go sit in the cafe. And he was just like, this is better than any school I've seen. I was like, I love that. But it was like, he's like on the legit path. I was like, that's exciting. And to hear their stories is just really fun. Well, it's fun to get to know you. And I've gotten to know your beautiful wife, Andrea. She came in here. What was she? So she's doing a lot more speaking for what?
For her work. Yeah. She does culture and leadership training.
Okay.
So she had to speak in front of 100 people and she actually used this room
to rehearse.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of her. She's doing amazing.
Oh, she's so,
I will say the one thing we did together, she came to a couple meetings and I ran a Toastmasters chapter for 3 years.
Oh.
So I would say that's one thing I encourage anybody.
We don't have a Toastmaster group here.
I'm surprised we don't. Yeah.
There should be one here. We have all the B&I groups. We have the National Speakers Association here. But we don't have Toastmasters.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
That is a great organization. So I think.
So you and her started. You founded a chapter, or you both went to
So
one?
I took over leadership of a chapter for about 3 years, and then during that time we were together. So she came with me, and then we had Sophia. So that it was time to transition out. People still ask, Charlie, when you coming back? I'm like, I'll probably visit once a year now. Yeah. But
how old is Sophia now?
She's 2.
2. Okay, I was gonna say, is she almost 3?
No, she's 2.
She's 2,
and she's talking. She's saying words. She's mimicking everything we say now. So I told Andre we got to be really careful what we say because all the words we come out, she just mimics.
Does she speak both English and Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay. Already. I mean, how much Spanish do you speak?
Not much. Poquito.
Like, seriously? You're not fluent?
I know I should be.
Oh my gosh. There's so many of us in here learning Spanish.
Yes.
That we need to maybe we need to just say for a week, none of us can speak English in here. Oh, that'd be really hard. Maria makes me something. She goes, no, solo español. It's like, I don't know how to
Taylor's fluent. I know Taylor always speaks to her.
But do you know that Taylor learned by speaking to Maria here?
I didn't know.
In 1 year, she became fluent.
Wow.
I mean, she took it in high school, but I took Japanese in high school. How helpful was that?
Yeah.
She took it in high school, totally forgot about it. And then in her mid-30s, Maria speaks Spanish and says she doesn't speak English, but Maria speaks English, but she refuses. And so we were like, all right, we're going to learn Spanish. And Taylor's like, I'm only speaking Spanish to her. And Taylor, in a year, picked it up. And now you hear her. She's completely fluent in Spanish.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And so all of us go, we need to get in there and learn better. Learn Spanish. Yeah. So Sophia's bilingual already.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Teach our kids.
Yeah, we'll bring her in. I'm sure she'll have a lot of fun here.
Well,
She loves people.
Halloween is coming,
Oh,
and
that's
we
right.
do a Halloween pet parade. We do a dog parade. So the dogs in costumes, they do a whole parade around the space. And then we have trick-or-treating at all the offices.
And it's on a Friday, which is
It's on
even
a
better.
Friday this time. I fly back from Hawaii. We're going to be on vacation. We fly back on Halloween. We do a red eye to get back on Halloween morning at like 6:30 a.m. And I'm coming straight here.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to have my costume already here because I'm like, oh no, the Halloween here is too fun. I need to be here on Halloween. So yeah, that's true. You weren't here last Halloween.
We stopped in briefly, I think, with
Did
Sophia.
you?
Yeah. We were
Okay,
the
so
Top Gun crew. Yeah.
oh, that's true.
Yeah, we
Okay,
stopped
so
in
you
briefly.
guys, you did come in.
But Sophia was,
So
it
it's
was,
been a
he
year.
was, she was a little bit
She was
younger.
really little. I
Yeah.
forgot you guys were Top Gun. You were
but
so
now,
cute.
but now it'd be a little,
Yeah.
be a little more engaging.
She would love it. Yeah. Margie will, I don't even know what costume Margie's going to be, but Margie will be here. The dog, I'm sure Gracie, the Chihuahua here, usually has like 3 costume changes. And so we'll see what Gracie comes as. And yeah, there's several dogs in here that go all out on their costumes. So that'll be fun. But
Awesome.
yeah, very fun. Charlie, it's just so fun to talk to you.
Yeah, same here.
And I'm looking forward to the marketing
Yes.
masterclass, video marketing masterclass.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Video?
Masterclass. Yeah.
Masterclass for video marketing.
Yes.
We'll get that marketing part down and get that going. But looking forward to it. What else is going on in your world? Anything?
Just trying to get this stuff moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if people want to get a hold of you, how do they find you? Where do they go?
They can come to the village or they can call me. My number is 720-583-5794. They can email me at charlie@innovate-cre.com.
That is another sign of a true entrepreneur. We have no life and no boundaries.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
always give people my cell phone, and Taylor would always go, "You're giving them your
Yeah.
cell phone?" I was like, I have no life. I have no boundaries. Like if somebody's wanting to do something, I literally, if you come to our front door and you push the doorbell,
Yeah. You get,
it pings me. It sends me a text, and I can answer it. Like, you're locked out. Oh, here, let me buzz you in. Yes, because everyone else on our team has boundaries. I have no life, no boundaries. So you have his phone number,
Yes.
and we'll put it in here,
Yes.
and his email. We'll put it in here, and your website is
innovate-cre.com.
innovate
dash cre.com.
CRE.com. Yes, Charlie, delight. You need to know him. You need to work with him. And
Thank you.
I love it. I love that you're here.
And come visit me at the village.
Yeah, come visit. He's always here. Yeah, fun to talk to. Bye, everyone. We'll see you
Okay.
next time in the neighborhood.
Bye.